A state of play has been announced for June 2nd. It's gonna be a big one, and the fact that they're announcing it on May 20th is pretty huge. Like, usually we get state of play reveals a few days before they actually are happening, so them already giving us a heads up 2 weeks in advance is kind of crazy. A new look at Marvel's Wolverine kicks off 60 minutes of news and announcements for games coming to PS5. So in this video, I of course want to give you my predictions, go over some news, some leaks, etc., etc., and let me know what you want to see, of course, in the comments, or if you're watching live, in the chat, so we can go over that as well. June 2nd, more than 60 minutes of updates. To kick things off, you'll get a closer look at Marvel's Wolverine. Insomniac will share more of its upcoming third-person action-adventure game, showing off Logan's brutal and relentless combat, alongside some new details. This all-new take on the comic book legend launches on PS5 September 15th. We, of course, already knew that. In the insanely crowded September, a week before Phantom Blade Zero, and also like a little over a week before Blood of Dawnwalker. It's crazy out there. So this is all we know officially from Sony. They are doing an official like state of play free fan event at the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema, so you can watch the show with other people, which is kind of awesome in a cinema. There they say it's 90 minutes, but they might do like some commercials or whatever. But like Sony says 60 minutes, it's probably going to be like 80, something like that. That's what usually happens. But the fact that it's in a cinema, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that happens often. So that tells me that there's a lot happening at this state of play. So yeah, they say, of course, we get a lot of Wolverine. This is the second trailer we got. Of course, we remember maybe the one that we had when they announced Spider-Man 2. They also announced, or they announced Wolverine. I think they announced Spider-Man 2 first in that PlayStation showcase, and then we saw that teaser trailer for Wolverine. And this is, of course, the first sort of gameplay look we got at the game. Yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see more. I'm already on board though. I'm gonna play this anyways. Insomniac, you got my money already. But I would love to hear a bit more about the game length, because I'm still... Spider-Man 2 as an open world game is 20 hours to do everything, right? This is not open world. Like, I am worried that we're looking at like a 12-hour package here. So I hope that they can like kind of convince me that, yo, there's like, we have kind of an open level here. I hope there's more. Another thing that we will also probably learn about, and this, for example, what we see here with Ghost of Yote, they also announced like, okay, the game is coming, and they had like the collector's edition and digital deluxe edition. So I think we will get photos like this with, yo, you get these outfits for Wolverine, stuff like that, right? And then what they are also saying here is that the pre-orders are happening like the week after they announced that. So begin next week is when they will start pre-orders. So I think for Wolverine as well, they will show hopefully a 6 to 8 minute gameplay, like kind of what happened with Spider-Man 2, right? Like a full mission, or basically like from start to finish. Maybe some cuts here and there, and then they will end with the deluxe edition. You can pre-order then and then. I think it's gonna be a week after this state of play, and then yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But of course, Wolverine will start the show, and that means that they will have something else as the final reveal. And maybe you remember, state of plays right now have huge end of the show reveals. Always a PlayStation Studio game. Last state of play has the God of War trilogy remake. And it seems like we get another God of War reveal during this state of play as the final thing. And that's, of course, the God of War phase spin-off featuring Tyr and multiple mythologies. These are rumors, it's not confirmed. But the fact that Cory Barlog, of course, the director on God of War 2018, has been working since 2018 on his own game in the God of War universe, something I predicted for a long time, seems to be happening. And yeah, it seems to be focused on Kratos' second wife, Faye. And yeah, prequel, of course, and multiplayer first is confirming that the East Asian mythologies will be part of it. And that makes sense. If you played Ragnarok and finished it, you saw Tyr at the end do some like meditation moves, and that hinted at the next God of War taking place in those mythologies. I would be down for that. We, of course, heard about Egypt for a long time. That would be awesome, too. But I think going here... like, they always do the unexpected, right? We did not get Mjolnir as a weapon in Ragnarok. We got the Dropnir Spear. Like, they are always doing different things. So, I think this would be awesome. This is a perfect end of the show reveal. 2027 is the rumored date. That would go wild. And I can't wait. I think this will be crazy. But Nate the Hate says there will be other exclusives other than God of War and Wolverine at the State of Play. So he casually confirms that God of War game is likely happening from Cory Barlog. And Wolverine, of course. So what are the other exclusives that could be there? I'm going to throw in a crazy one first. Because we know that Naughty Dog has a second team. Led by Sean Ascai. I always butcher that name. I always look it up when he does like interviews. It's like Sean Ascai. Either way. He was a director on Marvel's Avengers at Crystal Dynamics. Before that, he worked on Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. And after Marvel's Avengers, he joined Naughty Dog again to do The Last of Us Part 1, to kind of get into the swing of things again. And it seems, rumors are indicating, many rumors, that he's now doing an Uncharted game, because it would be kind of crazy for Sony. They're pumping out games for their biggest franchise that are like 15 million plus sales, right? Uncharted is one of those, and they have not touched that in forever. I recently looked it up, like Lost Legacy was 2017, and of course Uncharted 4 was 2016. So that's been a very long time. Not saying that we will get the game at this State of Play, just throwing it out there. This is heavily rumored. We could see it. Would be huge. Personally, if the PlayStation 6 is indeed coming next year, or like some sort of event for it, I think this is a game that you want to save for that. But hey, if we get more exclusives, it might be this. Another one that I think is more likely is likely Until Dawn 2. This has been rumored for a very long time from the Fire Sprite devs. This is a studio that Sony bought. They worked on Call of the Mountain, the Horizon VR game. But they've also been working a very long time on a horror game with choices. And we had, of course, the Until Dawn remake that had a new ending cutscene teasing a sequel. So I would not be surprised if they announce this and it's out in October. I think they did that with the Until Dawn remake as well. So, yeah. We will see, but that would be another one that we can see. I quickly want to scroll through all the studios they have and kind of talk about if I think they will show up at the State of Play. Believing Digital, I think they will save a new Gran Turismo for the PlayStation 6. Of course, we already had Astrobot. I think they will take some time. Fire Sprite, we talked about that. Guerrilla, of course. Horizon Hunters Gathering. I saw some people like, I've seen some other predictions for State of Plays. They're like, oh, they're going to show Hunters Gathering. I don't think so. I played the second test they did. This game is still very far away, it feels. Like, they're not ready yet for prime time. Then we have Housemarque. Serral's, of course, just came out. I can totally see them do Serral's DLC, like a free update, like the co-op mode. Although it might be a bit too early for that. Media Molecule, I think they still need some more time. Nixus, the PC port studio. That is, of course, an interesting thing, because we learned from Jason Schreier that PlayStation Studios boss, CEO Herman Hulst, told staff in a town hall meeting on Monday morning that the company's narrative single-player games will now be PlayStation exclusive, confirming Bloomberg's report from earlier this year. So I would not be surprised if during the State of Play we're like only on PlayStation, that for Wolverine, that for the God of War game, that for any of the other games, they're like only on PlayStation. They can hammer that home again. Because, yeah, it's now true. These games are not coming over to PC, while Horizon Hunters Gathering and the other types of games, they are still coming over. The live service games, basically. So, Nixus, I'm curious what they're going to do. They were the port studio, so they might be helping just with the live service games now. Then we have Band, of course. Their game got cancelled recently. I don't think we will hear from them soon. We might see more from Marathon. Haven, that's the other one. There was a trademark here for Break-In. That is seemingly the new name for Fair Game $. It's interesting that they, of course, filed the trademark right now, but we also recently had a report here from Tom Henderson talking about that they just did another test and it's struggling. Like, it seems, the very least, Fair Games is still a long way to go in development. People did not like it. Like, I also don't think you want to, like, announce that at the state of play if it feels like it's far from happening. So, like, they might just do a sort of Horizon Hunters Gathering approach where they will announce it in a blog post and be like, test it, help us out, please. But, yeah. Of course, Wolverine, I think Insomniac will only show Wolverine, not the rumored Venom game. Intergalactic, I think they will save Intergalactic for the September state of play. I would love for it to show up, but I think they want to focus on Wolverine first and then do Intergalactic. San Diego, MLB The Show, Santa Monica, yeah, we know the Faye game. Sucker Punch, I think they will go dark for a while with Ghost of Yotei. Of course, just out, they announced there are no more updates for Ghost of Yotei. Team LFG, Valkyries like a mobile. So that is it for PlayStation Studios. But obviously, these state of plays have way more games. But I think it's interesting to look at this first. Of course, now we're going to talk about third-party games. But Xbox will have a big show as well on June 7th. Their Xbox Game Showcase. We're on Insider Gaming, and it seems that some titles that will be at that Xbox Showcase have appeared on the Game Pass website, including Plague Tale Resonance, or I should say Resonance, a Plague Tale Legacy, which of course the prequel for the Plague Tale series. It's a prequel, right? It looks awesome. I would have guessed like maybe that's coming to the state of play. That's a game that is now rumored for August 27th, but it seems like Xbox has it because it's coming to Game Pass as well. A game that I'm really looking forward to. Clockwork Revolution is also here as a coming soon, and I love this image. But yeah, those are Xbox games. So basically, I'm going to talk about third-party games now. There is a chance that they will show up at Jeff Keighley's event on June 5th, or at the Xbox event on June 7th. But I picked games here that I think will have a higher chance to show up at PlayStation because they either have already appeared at the state of play or are just more PlayStation games, if that makes sense. And there will be some games missing, and maybe we'll talk about that here in a second. If you have something, again, put it in the chat if you're watching live. But yeah, I think some will, like a Lords of the Fallen 2, I think that's more a Jeff Keighley game than a state of play game. But I think the big one that we will hopefully see and get a release date for is Control Resonance, because what you're seeing here is a gameplay trailer that they showed at the state of play. This is really high on my list. I think the next time we see it, it will already look much better than this gameplay. But of course, they are doing some very cool stuff. I love how it's more, like, they don't want to say open world, but it has like very more open levels compared to the original. Obviously, we play a more melee character than Jesse. So I think, like, they want to still launch this year. It's crazy out there, and we're going to talk about more games that still want to launch before GTA. If they can, I would maybe say, yo, go for January 2027. But hey, I do think they want to launch this year. We will see. But it's going to be a big game. It needs to be a big success, though, for Remedy. Because, of course, their live service, FBC Firebreak, did not do well. Alan Wake did not do as well as they had hoped. So this has to be a big release. I think it's going to be like a very high scoring game in terms of Metacritic, but let's hope that people actually show up. I will at least be there. Then another game that I totally think we will see at the state of play, because they also announced this at a recent state of play, is of course the new Kena game. And yeah, it looks awesome. I love the inclusion of mounts, and they said 2026. This is another game where I'm like, do you really want to? Because it's like, I already said Plague Tale end of August, Blood of Dawnwalker September 4th, Phantom Blade Zero September 15th, or September 9th, Wolverine September 15th. This is all a third-person action game. Where do you want to fit Kena? But hey, we will see, because the first game really benefited from being one of the first PS5 titles, right? So we will see. But of course, the game looks great. Yeah, the new Silent Hill game is first person. Townfall. I'm sure we might get like a release date. Of course, Konami is a big, team player with PlayStation, if that's the right way to put it. And of course, they have like the Metal Gear sort of Volume 2 remakes coming as well. So I totally think this and that could be included. A game that I'm really looking forward to that is also still coming out before GTA. Look, this game is also gonna come in either September or October. Or maybe August. Like, it's not not good. It's not good. But hey, we're feasting, but we also have to make choices, and I think a lot will. This game is gonna be amazing though. I do think Phantom Blade Zero will be better. Maybe not better. It depends. This game totally, like, it was my favorite game at Gamescom, as you might know. I love playing it. It was my biggest surprise. Even more so than Phantom Blade Zero, because I already knew what Phantom Blade Zero was. So, but I just don't think it will, benefit from a September release date or whatever. But I'm sure we will see it at the State of Play. Capcom is on a roll, so they don't really have anything else for the rest of the year, apart from something that I will touch on in a moment, but that's like smaller. But yeah, I do think we will see Onimusha Way of the Sword at the State of Play, with likely a release date. This is another game because, hey, we have end of August stuff. We have the big September. We got like a pretty crowded October that will fill up after Summer Game Fest. But here in August, let's see, do they like say that here? It's like August 4th. We get this game from the Pokemon developers that looks surprisingly awesome. It has like a combo of like action combat with turn-based elements where you command the dog. Look, I think this game could be pretty fun, and it has been at State of Plays before. I would not be surprised if they use this final State of Play before the game is out to promote it once more. Then another game that is like Tomb Raider. When you think of Tomb Raider, you think of PlayStation, right? So obviously a remake of the 1993 game, you're gonna be here. It looks awesome. Legacy of Atlantis, of course. This is, I think they also still want to have this out in 2026. So I really think we will see it at either this State of Play or, like, I'm going to say State of Play, but it could also be at the Jeff show, because they, of course, announced this and Catalyst, the real new Tomb Raider game from Crystal Dynamics, at the Game Awards. So I would not be surprised if they're like, hey, Jeff, let's do a deal. We are at the Game Awards, we're at Summer Game Fest, and then Gamescom as well, and you got like the bundle going, and it's good stuff for everyone. So we will see, but I totally think we will see Lara, of course, in this Summer Game Fest. Another big Game Awards reveal, right? It was announced at the Game Awards. Yeah, Ace Combat 8. I think this is more like a State of Play game, so I would not be surprised if we see it. It's still coming out this year, right? So yeah, that's another one of those before GTA games. Now we're getting into territory where I'm like, it could go either way. The ones that I just mentioned, the games that I just mentioned, I'm like pretty certain that they will show up. But it could go either way for this one. This is, of course, Judas, the game from the BioShock creator Ken Levine. And this has been in development for a crazy long time. He started working on it after BioShock Infinite. That was a 2013 game, right? So yeah, this has been in development for a crazy long time. And he has been doing like blog posts on PlayStation. He has been like, I think he was at the State of Play already once. They know that PlayStation is the audience for this game. I think this game is going to be very, very special. I believe. I want to believe. And they're taking their time. But I do think at one point they have to launch. Now, Take-Two doesn't need this game. So they, of course, have GTA. I think we might see it again and finally get a release date for early 2027. I think it would be crazy if they launched this before GTA, but I also would not be surprised. I just think that there is a chance that we see it at the State of Play. I already touched on it. This is low-key maybe the biggest PlayStation exclusive coming out this year. Yeah, I'm saying that, even though we have, of course, Wolverine. But no, Phantom Blade Zero, like, this is gonna be insanely huge. It's also coming to PC, of course, but not Xbox, which is kind of crazy. And yeah, I played it a couple of times. What is there to say? Like, this is gonna be massive, and I think it's gonna hurt a lot of the other September releases. I can't wait for it. It looks, it plays as good as it looks. That's how I always like to describe it, because you're often like, is this real? Is it like only cinematic? No, you're actually doing all these moves, and it's super fluid. But yeah, it has been quiet, so I do think Summer Game Fest is going to be very important. Will they still hit that September 9th release date? But here, PlayStation console exclusive. They're taunting Xbox with that, of course. But yeah, this is going to be huge, and I do think it's good to have that at the event. Then we have another game that you might have forgotten about, but that is another one of those Asian games that is like, yo, we are here and we are Western devs, so we're coming for your freaking money because we can do this too. We can do an Uncharted. You should be scared of us. Blood Message is this game, and it looks amazing. It's again, a more action adventure type game, but it does still have the bladed combat, but it's just super cinematic. Look at this. Of course, we have to see how it plays with Phantom Blade Zero. I know, okay, it's pretty easy to do all the moves that you see on screen. We don't know with a scripted trailer like this. But yeah, I think I'm not sure if it's coming to Xbox, but this feels like another one of those games where they're like, hey, PlayStation, do you have a spot for us? I can see this either be at the Jeff Keighley event or at the State of Play, and this is gonna be another one of those. Look at this scene, is so cool. The fights just look so heavy. Like, every enemy feels like a challenge to overcome, and I can't wait for this. I really can't wait for this, and I would love to see more. I do think it's coming out next year, which is fine. Like, again, it's too crowded already. But yeah, this would be another cool one at the State of Play. I know people will say Resident Evil DLC. I think there's gonna be Resident Evil 9 DLC probably at this event. PlayStation always gets the Resident Evil stuff, so high chance we will see it. Let's go a bit more pie in the sky. Let's go a bit more crazy. What about Jedi 3? Star Wars Jedi 3. I can totally see this be at this. I can see this be at any of the Summer Game Fest things, but probably Jeff Keighley makes the most sense. But yeah, I think PlayStation is the biggest audience for this game, so we have confirmation time and time again that they're, of course, going to do a final game in the trilogy. So it has been almost from Fallen Order to Survivor is the same amount of time as from Survivor till September this year, basically. So high chance that we will see this game at one point. I don't think it will launch this year. Those were rumors. That would be crazy. I don't think that's smart either, but I can't wait to see it. But yeah, this one is looming. It's gonna drop before the new consoles are out. We will see when. And another one of those is, of course, HogWarts Legacy 2. So this is a report. Like, websites have been putting up a report because one Twitter user, Tidux, who I don't think... Like, I like the person. I've interacted with him. Great guy, but I don't think he has any insider info. So he tweeted basically HL2 or whatever, and they were like, HogWarts Legacy 2 is coming, oh my god. But I don't believe it. Either way, we could see it. This is one of those games where you're also like, let's put on a show in a freaking theater. That's what you do if you have an HogWarts Legacy 2 reveal. But I think it's not coming out like next year, end of the year. We have the HBO TV show, of course, coming at the end of this year. But yeah, they have a new season, I think, every year. So I don't think it matters. When they, I don't think they need to launch this game with that TV show. It's gonna happen, though. HogWarts Legacy released in 2023. Same as Jedi Survivor. So yeah, we're... Like, 3 years is not a lot of time, but they did cancel the DLC. They've been working on it for a long time. We know Rocksteady have been, like, helping with, like, HogWarts Legacy content. I don't know, man. I think it's too soon. If I had to guess, I don't think we see it this year. But I would love to be wrong. They could just do another teaser trailer. and call it a day. But yeah, I think this is more like a PlayStation 6 reveal event stream or whatever, right? Just like HogWarts Legacy. But we will see. I just wanted to throw it out there. This is another looming game. Then, one more thing before I will look at the chat here and see what I maybe missed. Sony is releasing a new PlayStation Portal OLED model this year. Wanted to throw it out there. That has been a rumor. I believe it. So this is not the new handheld they want to do, but this is a the Portal that we already have, but with an OLED display. They want to get this out before the potential handheld, of course. I think this is more a September State of Play reveal. That's when they usually do hardware for the end of the year. But yeah, still want to throw it out there. This has been rumored. Who knows? Maybe they will drop it at this State of Play. Okay. Let's see if people still have things that I missed that could be at the State of Play. But I think this has been a pretty good roundup of what we know so far. I see people say GTA 6. Of course, not gonna happen. They will pick their own day. They will be in the summer, they already said. What about Injustice 3? That is an interesting one, Blaze Flame. I feel that that's too soon. I think that that's too soon. We just had also, of course, Lego Batman for Warner. Now, I think the next game from NetherRealm is seemingly a DC fighter game. It might not be Injustice 3, but like a separate DC fighting game. I think it's too soon. But that is totally something we could see during Summer Game Fest. But I think it's too soon overall. Persona 6. That is an interesting one, Pan-Fried Pancake. It could totally be. But we have seen Xbox kind of carrying the torch for Persona lately. They, of course, got all the games on Game Pass. Didn't they reveal Persona 4 Reload? So, I think it would be fair for Atlas to be like, yo, you get the Persona 6 reveal. But, yeah, could be at State of Play as well. That is totally a good one. How about the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3? No, I have not mentioned that, All Is Dust. That is actually a good one too. But what I think with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth 3, or Rebirth 3, Remake 3, I don't think you want to put that in a State of Play. Because what they noticed as a Square Enix is that having that game as an exclusive, they of course got Final Fantasy 16, the first remake, and Rebirth started out as a PlayStation 5 exclusive, or PS4 in the case of the first remake. It did not... It still sold well, but not as good as they wanted. So when they brought it over to PC, it helped. So I think the moment they go announce this third part at a PlayStation event again, people might be like, oh, it's PlayStation exclusive again. I think they will... If it's happening at an event, it will likely be at Jeff Keighley's event. So June 5th. For Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think. Persona 4 Remake at the Xbox Showcase this year. Yeah, Jojo, I think so too. Kingdom Hearts 4 is... that's just so hard to predict. But yeah, I think that's another one. If you want to show that, that could totally be the Jeff game as well. The one more thing at Jeff's thing. But I think Part 3 is before Kingdom Hearts 4. But yeah, we will see. They're gonna be beefy showcases, Warren. I think so too. I think we're at a pretty interesting time where we are getting some fine showcases. Marvel 1943 is vaporware. Like I think making a prediction for that game is also not great because that's been delayed indefinitely. No, I'm not feeling it. I don't know. Blade, Iron Man, those are good picks. Blade, of course, from Arcane, should be at the Xbox Showcase. I really think it's time. Of course, their last game was Deathloop from Arcane Leon. So, feels like it's time for Blade. Like a launch next year, I think makes sense. In terms of Iron Man, that's the EA game from Motive. A lot of people that worked on that game were put on Battlefield 6 to get that out. So, I think Iron Man is further away. Those were reports, at least. Than we think. So I think Iron Man needs more time. I don't think we see it. So of course, let me know what you think in the comments. And I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.